I'm just telling you. Welcome to the Australian Ultimate Championships for 2018. This is the final match in the men's division, the gold medal match. This is what it's all been for, 4 days of hard play, and now we are left with only two. My name is Daniel Clinton, and I am joined by a legend of the sport in Australia, Kylie O'Brien.
Thank you, Daniel. Nice to be here. Exciting game ahead between the Mammoth team from Brisbane, hoping to exert a bit of home state advantage, versus the Colony Plunder team from Sydney. Colony Plunder heading off to the World Ultimate Championships later on this year. I think it's fair to say they're the favourites, but that doesn't always mean that they're going to be the team that comes out on top.
Favourites mean nothing, I don't think, in a match like this. Wouldn't it be fitting if Mammoth win this? Colony Plunder have been here so many times before. They've done it so many times before. And Mammoth, well, they have lost one game the entire tournament. And guess who it was to?
Tell me.
Colony Plunder. In pool play, they went down. And that was their, or has been their only loss this weekend, the entire weekend.
See the first pull go up from Spielman. Nice pull, lands in bounds, rolls out the back past the outstretched hands of Denya.
Well,
and we see Abra Garfield go retrieve it, and he'll bring it up to the front of the end zone. We've
seen a lot of this split stack, or side stack with the cutter in isolation. Jimmy Mickle, far sideline. The young Grimmond has pulled the match up.
Garfield with the disc. He looks early to Denya. He's able to hit Shepherd through the middle. Continues on there with Chris Kosher, one of the Americans. Back to Mickle. US connection here. Mickle again. Quick release there. Pete Ely not able to hold on to that. Grimman picks it up immediately. We've seen that throw time after time this weekend. It just is really hard for the receiver to reel it in. Grimman is eager to move the disc quickly, but just not able to be chased down by McGuckin.
Well, 2 turns in the first point. The Plunder offense can't get the job done. Peter Ely dropping the disc. And then Grimman picks it up and throws it away on the first pass.
Back with Garfield. Resets to Denya. Good defense here from the Mammoth boys. It's with Garfield, but they've gone nowhere. And Garfield says, I am going to put that disc up and I am going to back my receiver who gets it on the second grab, and then we see A-Shep. Big celebration, but I don't think you're super unhappy if you're the Mammoth boys seeing that's the option as how they're going to score.
Young Liam Grimmond has had a huge look at that throw and has nearly made the play. Kosher had him for speed, and then the bid from Grimmond nearly made the play. It popped up, but straight up in the air. Kosher, cool and calm, catch, flip, goal. That's the first point on the board. Mammoth will not be unhappy, though. They had an opportunity. They created a turn, and they nearly got a second turn.
Yeah, that's right.
Turns are going to be like hen's teeth in this game. They are going to be rare.
Well, I'll be interested to see if that's the case, because there's probably been a few more turns in both divisions than we would have expected to see. And I mean, you're right. Both of these teams will have very high standards in terms of where they expect that turnover rate to be. But as you say, we've already seen one apiece. First point in. And we see there's a few of the Colony Plunder boys that are looking to play at WUCC that are out injured at the moment. A couple of their big names, Tom Tullett, Mark Evans, Gav Moore, three that spring to mind. And they're offering a lot of advice from the sidelines, as you can imagine they would, with Rob Andrews with the pull. It's a big pull. Under it is John McNaughton. He's going to be pivotal to this attack. He launches, looks to launch, holds off. We see him move the disc. They're happy to just work it around at the moment.
The Plunder defense has generated a turn there just through downfield coverage of cutters. And Plunder could have the first break of the game.
Well, you'd back them. They're right outside
and
the end zone.
Latamatos. Alex Latamatos picks it up. Can he put it in? He resets instead.
Nichols with the disc. He's able to move it wide. And again, Sutas. Captain of this team, he won't be happy with that. He had a good grab at it. Uncontested, really.
Paulet, not the best throw. Inside shoulder. Quite hard and flat. So Mammoth, their offense, have another crack at it.
Yeah, we see McCallum, one of their main targets. He's working hard there. He launches off. Oh, that was a big bid.
Inches.
That was a very impressive bid. It looked for a second there that he was going to reel that in. But you can see McCallum working hard in the middle of the field. He's going to be a main target for them. McAllister there put in a huge effort, but just unable to come down with it. And once again, we've seen a few turns without a point being scored.
I retract what I said, Kylie. Turns are not going to be like hen's teeth, as we've had 4 in the first 2 points.
Petrov with the disc sends it off to Paulet. Sutas now makes sure of this one. He's looking for Andrews. Andrews able to use his height and just sneaks it in there. Rob Andrews was dancing around, flirting with that edge of the end zone line, and then he just does a little bit of fancy footwork, and just like that, Colony score again.
Andrews, feet like Michael Flatley. They were on fire as he tap danced his way in. Oh, Plunder, 2-0. This is not the start that Mammoth wanted. I think that if they had it their way, they'd be up 2-0. And really, they could have been. But for drops, skill errors, and giving Plunder too many opportunities, they find themselves down the break.
And look, you'd expect there'd be a few nerves going into a big game like this. Got a nice crowd building on the sideline. And this means a lot to these teams, so I'd expect them to play their way in a little bit. It's not unusual to see a few uncharacteristic turns early in a game like this before both teams start to set into their rhythm. I think for Mammoth, though, it's going to be really important for them to hold this offensive point just to get themselves started and start to build a little bit. They've had a very good season so far. They would have expected to be in this final. And even though, as I said, Plunder, I'm sure, would be the favourites, I don't think the Mammoth boys will be thinking like that.
That's a good pull.
That is a good pull. Comes down.
Brown.
Moves the disc straight away to McGuckin. He launches. He's looking for Murphy.
Oh,
and Murphy takes it casually. The bucket hat slips off in the process. He won't mind that, though, because that's the sort of score that Mammoth would have wanted to see. A nice, easy confidence builder. Just steady the ship and make sure that they don't let Plunder get out to a big early lead.
Well, Murphy, the bucket hat. With that hat on, he's a spitting image for Chris Cunliffe. Great long-term player for Firestorm and then Mammoth when they formed. And well, that outcut was pure power.
Yeah, he's had a bit of international experience now as Murphy playing through the youth ranks, under 24s, most recently. So he'll be one of the targets that they'll be looking to hit on a pretty regular basis. And now we have a chance to see how Plunder responds. If they can score in an easy fashion like that, McNaughton's with the disc. See what the breeze is not too strong. It's been prevalent all day. It's still definitely running from the right-hand side of the screen to the left. McNaughton, strong thrower though. You'd expect him to have no trouble. He doesn't. He sits that one up nicely for Denyer to take. Denyer to Garfield. Garfield to Kosher. Keeping it wide. He's able to move it back in field for the reset. They're using the width nicely here. Garfield thought about it. Ely holds onto that one. Oh, under a lot of heavy pressure there on the mark. Mickle. Mickle launches. Oh, just past an outstretched Kosher. It gave him a lot of work to do. That was going to be an impressive reel in.
A hellishly flat throw. Mickle has pumped it. And Kosher, at full stretch, still a metre or two away from that disc. So Plunder, cough it up and turn it over. Mammoth, an opportunity. McNaughton goes strong. Dominator movement. And McNaughton is going to put it up. Oh, he's got a mountain of space. He's all alone.
Oh, McAllister. Wow. He's been busy early. We saw him just not quite get that last deep shot that came from Mammoth, but that one, he had time to plan his celebration well and truly before he caught it.
That is a special throw from John McNaughton, and McAllister has outrun not one but two Plunder boys. Both Denyer and Peter Ely left in his dust cloud as he motored down the field and made it look easy. That is a good score for Mammoth. They needed that hold.
Yeah, and clearly the game that John McNaughton has today is going to have a massive influence on how this scoreline ends up for Mammoth. So if he can hit shots like that on a regular basis, going to keep themselves very much in this contest.
I spoke quickly with David Wiseman of the Melbourne Juggernaut. Of course, they lost to Mammoth in the semis yesterday, and his words were, John McNaughton tore us apart. He said, John McNaughton was incredible. And how he plays today, so important.
Very important. Spielman stabs that pull in. It's back with Garfield at the front of the end zone. Finds Kosher immediately. He's looking, unsurprisingly, for Mickle, but resets. Back out to Garfield.
A lovely switch downfield. Lensay and Murphy switching receivers and covering the out.
Oh.
Plunder, preserve, Kosher.
Denyer makes Garfield work hard for that. We see Kosher looking deep. Mickle getting caught up there, so comes back for a reset.
Yeah, Lensay's doing a good job on Mickle at the moment. And Plunder having to work through the other 6 players.
Yeah, well, they're working through their handlers a lot at the moment as we see Shepherd come in. Norton now with the disc. Done a good job holding them up, though, Mammoth. Garfield, but we have a pick called I believe from Grimmin, just on Denya passing through.
Lots
in
of
front
bodies
the
in
disc.
not much space at the moment. They're very strong side. Oh, Garfield.
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 Wow, that is a lovely throw. Lefty Garfield, he just puts that flick out, and that's probably the throw you want to see there. Just suits the wind.
And there was only one player ever going to catch that. His name, Alex Shepherd, getting on the scoreboard. Plunder, 0 point, successful, 3-2. We have lots of Americans out there today. Kylie, there is 3, I believe. I may be wrong. Mickle, Kosher, and then for Mammoth, McAllister. He was captain of the under-24 American Open side.
Yeah,
Played Ring of Fire, and that's how his connection with Mammoth was formed. Obviously, John McNaughton playing in North Carolina for a season, I believe.
Yeah, and I was talking to McNaughton earlier in the tournament, and he was saying that Mammoth this season, more so than ever before, just has a particularly athletic bunch of players, and that they've really been able to bring it together at the right time of the season, that they've all sort of developed really strongly as a unit, and they're pretty confident that they can compete in this game.
Well, they're right in it. 3-2. It's so close. Plunder are up a break, but that is not the end of the world.
Another good pull.
They're in Callahan country. They need to get out of here.
Well, we see McNaughton sending it back in field.
It's quite poachy from Plunder. They seem to be running some sort of clam, unaccountable on the handlers, just poaching off into the lane. Mammoth.
Leask just summarising his opportunities there, and McIntyre. Again, we're seeing now Mammoth working it through the handlers and not really being able to penetrate downfield to those cutters. But they're happy to be patient and work it around. Now we see McAllister with the launch.
Oh, what a special
big, strong
throw.
run. Big, strong run there by Leask. He's not quite... There's a discussion as to exactly where he's landed. Whether he's inbounds and it's a goal or whether he's just outside.
Well, knowing Jimmy Todd Hill, there's no way he would call that in if he believes it's out. Todd Hill, he's got pretty good spirit. It's they'll sort it out. Steve Baker involved, head game advisor for the match. Going to talk about it. Leask, that throw from McAllister though. Oh.
Yeah, it was lovely, and Leask was cutting hard, but he didn't look like he'd have to put on the afterburners completely. So it's a lovely weighted throw.
Well, it's going to result in not in.
Disc back with McNaughton. And, oh, wow, that's a miscue there. McAllister thought that Norton wanted to do the cheeky little give-go, but McNaughton stayed out of the end zone. It ended up being 2 Plunder players.
They tried
fighting for the D.
They tried the Sockeye small ball, and it's given them a black eye.
Nichols with the disc. He launches now. Latamatos, not a familiar deep target.
Oh, Leask, you're an animal!
And you can see why, because he doesn't have a huge amount of height, and Leask has punt. Now that's when you saw Leask put the afterburners on right there.
I think Latamatos may have just been posterized. We'll see if it was a foul. I don't know. The angle isn't great from here. Both players running away from the camera. I'm backing Leask for that one, though. It seemed like he had inside position, and as they both went up to meet the disc in the same spot, contact has eventuated, but Leask, it doesn't seem like it's affected Latamatos' bid. He was much, much higher than Latamatos. They'll discuss it, sort it out. Ultimate self-refereed. So we don't have one referee, we have 14 at a time.
The game advisors there can offer advice, but they're not making calls on behalf of the players.
Yeah, I think that is no foul.
Just given the length of time that the discussion has happened here.
I'd imagine it's going to be contested and sent back.
Yeah, so if the two players can't come to an agreement.
It's an uncontested foul. Okay. Liska's going to let Ladamatos have this one. And
so if they hadn't been able to come to an agreement, the disc would have gone back to the thrower. But Lisk, by the looks of it, his opinion's been swayed by Ladamatos, who ends up with the disc in a very strong position for Colony Plunder. And he just sneaks it inside to Andrews.
Inevitable result after that foul being uncontested. I think Lisk he's a bit stiff there. That is a nothing foul call by Ladamatos. He got owned and he should have just let it go. But he's stood by his foul call, as is his right. It results in Plunder breaking Mammoth again for the 4-2 lead.
Yeah, it would have been great to have the audio on there with the game advisors so we could hear the discussion that was happening, because I think for it to be an uncontested foul, Lisk must have acknowledged that his contact has impacted Ladamatos significantly. I don't think that he would just agree for the sake of agreeing. So hopefully we can get a little bit of the audio coming in for the future calls so that we can get a little bit more insight into what's going on with the players. But that throw from Ladamatos to Andrews, Sydney Uni teammates, those boys have been playing together for a long time. They know each other's game well. And that just looked like a throw where they recognised what the other person was going to do, both on the same page, and an easy score in the end for Plunder. And that takes them now 4-2.
McNaughton has made way. He's off the field. I think that's actually a good sign. Speaking with some of the Mammoth insiders, they spoke about a faceless army. Just wholesale changes, lots and lots of athletes, all of which just get out on the field, run, and play 1 point in 4. Permack will catch for Mammoth to Brown. McGuckin, Permack, looking for Brown. He's got space on Mickle. Brown pumps, goes inside, Murphy. McGuckin. He had a special game yesterday, and speaking of special, Grimmond with the disc, resets back to McGuckin. Brown. And they come near sideline. Mammoth with reliable high percentage passes, gradually working their way. Oh, an inside throw, the lefty to Permack. The bid is not successful. It was Andrews coming through there. Permack will retain the disc. And they move into a vertical to Mammoth. Cook tries to get free, covered with a face mark. The around break, Brown. He's right on the doorstep. Permack. Just floating a little. Tries to work. Tries to break. Goes inside. McGuckin likes it.
It's a good score there for Mammoth. It was looking a little bit awkward in the middle there.
Yeah, they kind of stumbled a little. They slowed down after having gone 40 metres quite quickly. The last 20 was much, much harder.
And I wonder how much the Mammoth boys have benefited this season from having a couple of Colony players, ex-Colony players, join their ranks and maybe help provide a little bit more insight into the systems that Colony runs. So Callan Spielman's recently moved up to Queensland from Sydney, and he adds some great receiving options, strong pulls, and general all-round nice guy vibes. And then you also have Thomas Vo, TiVo, one of the real speedsters of the Colony team over previous years, and coming off a strong Barramundis campaign in 2016. So both of those guys bring a lot to this Mammoth team, and I think they've recruited well this season.
They've also got some lesser-known players that have come through the Brisbane ranks, or the Queensland ranks rather, and are, oh wow, okay. Yeah, all right.
That pull.
All right, John
That
McNaughton.
pull.
Oh!
Gallen! Gallen! Oh, you felt that coming, didn't you? You felt that coming.
He has walked in there. He could have been 80 years old and on a walking frame, and he still would have caught that, Callaghan. Oh, set up by John McNaughton and whacked out of the park. That is another Callaghan. We've seen some good ones.
Look at the body language of the Mammoth boys after that piece of brilliance. And it's fascinating. You saw that pull coming down. Denya thought that was going out, hoped that it was going out, prayed that it was going out. It didn't go out.
John McNaughton, that is the
Look
most...
at that pressure
that
from the
is-
Mammoth boys.
That is the most perfect pull you will ever see, and then... Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
Wow. But look, fantastic Callaghan, obviously, but the pressure put on by those first two Mammoth defenders...
They were right there.
They are the unsung heroes of that point. They put the pressure on, they forced that throw up, and McAllister comes through and gets the glory.
Phenomenal.
Oh, there's an extra zip in the step. Look at McAllister getting down there now, and another good pull. This one goes out the back, but it's landed in. Garfield says, I'll take that one, thanks.
If there's anybody wondering, how do you pull in ultimate? What are you aiming to achieve? That John McNaughton pull, perfection. It cannot be any better than what McNaughton just provided. And most players don't ever go for it because it's such a high-risk option. You know, the risk of it going out is too much, but McNaughton, easy to please.
Back with play now. Garfield has the disc. And a little dish off to Mickle, but we've got a call on the field. We've got a pick. Everyone just resets their position.
Doesn't affect the play, though, so Mickle will keep it and goes
Mickle to McNaughton. Back in now to Kosher. Right on the sideline. They move it across field. That's smart play. Ely with the disc. Looking a lot more confident now, the Colony boys. As we see that disc, he keeps it in.
Yeah, he keeps it in.
Denya will be happy to get that one back.
No.
Oh, no. He hasn't kept it in.
It's out.
Sorry, we're slightly obscured with our view here, and McNaughton has the disc. And there's an opportunity now for Mammoth to take the lead. McGuckin with the disc. No mark on him. Surveys options. Permac. Spielman, talking about him just before. Back to Permac. Permac now to Murphy. Murphy keeps the hat on. Back to Spielman. Moving through lots of hands here to Lindsay. McNaughton's been kept out of it for the moment.
But Permac is providing some good backup.
It really is, and then he shoots across field. Plenty of space for Murphy, casual as you like.
Mammoth have broken Plunder, and the confidence all of a sudden is sky high. Oh, this game is well and truly on now. If it wasn't before, it is now.
Isn't it a game of inches, though? You saw a hard run down again on off that pull. Good pull from McNaughton. Not quite as good as the one before because it did go out the back of the end zone. Calls from the whole sideline of Mammoth for Callaghan. They wanted another one. And then Colony would have been feeling pretty confident as they moved it downfield. They used the width of the field really well. and just not able to keep it in that last pass to Denya. Mammoth, patient. No involvement from McNaughton in that point, and I think that's a positive thing for the Mammoth guys.
Exceedingly positive. The less McNaughton has to do, the better. Not because McNaughton can't do it, but by spreading the load, sharing things around, you would say that there's a better chance of winning and a smaller chance of outright losing the game.
Yeah, well, this is turning out to be as fascinating as we hoped it would. Plunder certainly not having it all their own way. They look pretty relaxed, you'd have to say.
Oh, so much star power and experience out there. They're not worried. It's first half, you know. We can get excited. We're the commentary team. The players, on the other hand, realise long way to go in the game and lots of points to be played yet.
Another high pull from McNaughton. Back of the end zone. Oh, they've got him. Oh, Mickle makes sure that there's not another Callahan there. Denya with the disc.
Thompson nearly got it.
Denya out to...
Norton has maybe thrown it away.
No, Mickle's picked it up. Mickle with the disc. Mammoth doing a good job of matching up and slowing them down. A-Shep now takes the disc in the middle of the field. Has a look at his options. Patient play. Back to Kosher and A-Shep again. They're always looking for that target deep, but happy to hold off and put it back in the holster if they're not liking what they see.
Mickle is looking quite tired out there. Conley obviously trying to get him involved in the play, but he's looking not as spry. Oh, nice catch.
I think that's an illusion, Daniel. I think he's just doing what he needs to do for now. And he'll use his energy as he sees fit. And at the moment, it's great to see the Colony Plunder boys sharing the load around. And Alex Shepherd having a lot of involvement in that point. He's a fantastic player. Very unassuming, though. And we're back at evens.
Yeah, the Plunder offense holding on that point. So I believe we're back on serve, actually. With Mammoth breaking to make it 5-4. Believe that is back on serve as Plunder broke early. And it is now time for the Mammoth offense to get to work. No McNaughton. And no McAllister. Spielman, Murphy, Grimmond, Sebastian Brown, Cook, Permack, the line. And Andrews to pull for Colony. Let's see what Andrews can deliver in terms of pulls. McNaughton is putting on a clinic. And that's pretty good too.
Almost identical, just coming from the other direction because of the right-handed versus left-handed pulls. See now, Cook with the disc. Brown. Lateral pass to Cook. Lots of switching going on in back play from Colony, which is making it hard for Mammoth to advance. Permack swings it out to McGuckin. Oh! That's a great bid by Nichols, but Spielman holds on to it. Grimmond now. Out again to McGuckin.
Oh, nice high release flick.
Very nice high release flick. And Sutas with the grab D.
A poor throw, bad location on the throw, inside shoulder, gets blocked, and now Reece Stewart.
Stewart puts it up.
Oh, Brown.
Oh, wow. That is a lovely take by Harrison Rivai. Wow. He was under a fair bit of pressure there. Great composure.
Yeah, Sebastian Brown had time to set himself under the pass. Bid's big, but Revi not worried at all. Catches. And Plunder get a break of their own to make it 6-5. We're still quite a few points away from halftime. We see some replays. Beards left, right, and centre. And then it was Reece Stewart. Long-time Queensland player.
Yeah,
Product
that's
of the
right.
Queensland system. Played juniors. Played for such a long time for Firestorm. And then Mammoth finds himself on the other team. Throwing goals on his old teammates.
And Brown just puts his body on the line there. Gets landed on for his trouble. But it's, yeah, you can see how much this game means to both teams.
Well, this is it. This is all Mammoth have been planning for. This is all they've wanted since the end of last year. 6 months, probably even more of hard training. Years of campaigns coming together. A golden opportunity here to win the title. But they have to overcome possibly the hardest challenge in men's ultimate in Australia, Colony.
See the disc moving quickly now.
I question the matchup of, that is an ugly bid. It is not good. McNaughton. McNaughton looks a little stiff.
Yeah. Shaking it off there.
Yeah, hopefully he's all right. He should be fine. I question the matchup of Reece Stewart v. Timothy McAllister. McAllister has shown some, incredible quickness, and McNaughton has thrown it away.
Yeah. And we
Plunder.
see now Kosher coming back to the disc, left for him by his teammates. Sends it wide. Petrov does well to keep that in. He was right on the line.
Bit of a chuckle from McNaughton. He's just calling it down and is happy for play to continue. Receiving some help from McGuckin on the sideline, who said, John, my friend, that is up.
Oh, little spin around move from Stewart. Out to Petrov. Quick release there. Quick release. And is that Paole with the score?
That is Paole with a very big score. 2 breaks in a row for Plunder. After a burst of energy from Mammoth, Plunder weathered the storm and are now back on top in this game.
Just
Mammoth.
what makes them so dangerous, doesn't it?
Oh, just when you think you're on top, they flip the script.
That was a lightning fast release from Petrov after he caught that disc. Just knew where his receiver was going to be. Paole, isn't he happy with that one?
Magnificent beard Paole is sporting. Seen some good beards this weekend. I reckon that's top 50 at least, if not top 25. Andrews will pull for Colony. Plunder.
Yeah, the pulls in this game have been quality so far. You can see how much impact a great pull can have in terms of putting the offense under immediate pressure. McNaughton, you'd have to say, is winning the best pulling competition at the moment, but
And what the
Andrew's not far behind.
And Cal Spillman in there as well. What the pull does for the defense is massive. It gives you such a great opportunity to clap on your defense before the offense has really got rolling. You see this pull much flatter, and the offense is already at their brick mark.
Yeah, not quite as much float on that. As we see McGuckin with the disc. Big launch again to Lachlan Murphy in the end zone.
Oh, what a look by McGuckin.
I love the way that Murphy just makes it look like he's not working very hard at all. He gets a very good early read, and then he just has a look out to see who's coming, whether he needs to maintain his body position. But he just looks very casual when he's catching those goals.
His 40 time would be, or is, one of the lowest in the Mammoth team. So explosive. Generates separation, the double move, and thrown open by McGuckin. Back in the end zone.
He's obviously made a couple of adjustments to that hat because it stayed on the last couple of points he's caught rather than the first one that came off.
Maybe there's some double-sided tape in there somewhere. Oh, the throw. McGuckin. McGuckin will be one of the answers that Mammoth will need going into the second half. Grimmond, another. They are a faceless army, Mammoth, but they do have their own fair share of star power.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think Liam Grimmond, one of the most exciting young players in the game, and I think that was recognised early in the Crocs campaign when he was invited to come along and play at the selection camp, just recognition of that talent that exists there, and he absolutely blew everyone away with his abilities playing at that elite level. As we see Denya take the pull, releasing it quickly to Garfield, who's on the front of the end zone. Again, good pressure from Mammoth before Denya shoots one long to Ely. Ely! Ely! Beat Ely! You looked like he'd gone too early.
He did.
And he gets it on the second grab. That is incredible athleticism.
Wow, that's halftime on the back of some awesome athleticism. Huge bids. I thought Ely had gone way too early. I thought it was all over. And then all of a sudden explodes as he comes down. The second effort.
Wow. And you've got to feel sorry. You've got to feel sorry for Thomas Vo, I think, wasn't it?
It was Vo on coverage.
Tivo, so much speed.
And he was with him all the way.
Great effort there. And they've both gone for the second attempt. And Pete Ely, he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, the incredible bulk himself. Nice catch. Very nice catch. That's half-time. Plunder take it 8-6 here. We'll be back with the second half very, very shortly from Australian Ultimate Championships.
Everybody's going wild at this crazy new dance style. Throw your hands up and put your laughing face. Put your heart in the hands of the new Nazi Western state. I don't know who I am. Who I am, I don't know. Who I am, I don't know. Who I am. world running wild. Take a pill and try to escape. Try to float out of here and try to drift into space. I don't know who I am. Who I am, I don't know. Who I am, I don't know. Who I am. I should have gone away, but I do not know where you're going. No, I don't know. No, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. I don't know who I
Here's some speedy women.
Here.
He's in a great spot.
Now-
He's in a perfect spot. Yes, his massive head has blocked everything. That was a huge play,
back
but we
with
have
the
seen
disc.
none of it. Finney, he's done it.
House party win!
Welcome back. Second half action about to commence here. Colony Plunder taking half 8-6. They're going to come out disc in hand, right hand side of our screen. So still the breeze has dropped quite significantly from earlier today and certainly from what we've seen on other days. But there's gusts of it, still making life interesting. So Rob Andrews taking the pull.
Well, that's a sizable pull. It will roll out of bounds. The off break, strong. Nice Gary, the call.
You see Grimmin bringing the disc back up for the Mammoth boys. A lot of intensity in their halftime huddle. Well, they've still got the belief that they can get this, but they know it's going to take a couple of big breaks early. They got to hold first. Grimmin fakes the huck. McNaughton now. Back in field. Grimmin with the disc.
There's a pick in the stack. We'll come back. Grimmin so incredibly, I don't know how to describe him. He's wiry and just so incredibly fluid with disc in hand.
He's just got the X factor. Grimmond. You're never quite sure what he's going to do. Sometimes he plays really conventionally, and other times he just does some crazy stuff that comes off, and it's just that raw, that athletic instinct is what he has, as we see McNaughton launch a very safe hammer there.
Yeah, Thompson
over to Thompson.
Catching that one.
Leask. Back to McNaughton. Again with the hammer. Oh, picked up very nicely there by De Hollander.
And McAllister is going to have the disc in hand as the pick is called again. I'm not sure this is good for Plunder, because McAllister is going to sum up the defense. He's going to get a good read on them, and you'd think that he has the ability.
Oh, Benny Sutas anticipated that high release dump to John McNaughton and just smashes them. We see Ladamados quick to shoot. Andrews. Oh, you almost feel like if Sutas had left that, Andrews would have picked it up because he probably had the better read on it and he was motoring. But Mammoth will be very relieved that they get another chance at scoring this offense.
That's a life.
Leask with the disc. He sends it wide and high and floaty.
Unfortunately, that's
McCallum
out.
can't keep it in.
Yeah, he's gone out of bounds as he tried to catch it. And straight away, he lays it on the ground. So Ladamatos, a great opportunity for Plunder to stamp their authority on the first point of the second half.
IO to Andrews, and it's a score. We see that connection again between the two long-term teammates. Oh, that is such a missed opportunity for the Mammoth boys.
Well, you can't give them repeated chances.
Yeah, certainly,
Plunder
and certainly
away.
not short field repeated chances.
Plunder are way too good for that. If you want a gold medal, you're going to have to play a little bit better and a little bit cleaner. The Hollander, great catch. We see the throwaway. Somehow Sutas getting that one. He was face marking John McNaughton. And then the huck, Sutas off the weaker left hand. And Andrews, the inside throw for the score.
We've seen a few times in previous matchups in this division where the stronger team, in quotes, or the favoured team, have had some tight tussles early, and then they've managed to get a couple of points break, and then they've tended to just run away with it a little bit. So now I think is going to be a critical point to see whether Mammoth can actually change up that momentum and see what we've seen in the women's division a little bit, which is some big comebacks.
Yeah, your ladies, the Rogue Passion, queens of the comeback. They don't like the first half, but that's possibly because they own the second half. That's their territory. Huge comebacks. If you haven't, guys, make sure you do yourself a favour. Go and watch the last two Rogue Passion games from this tournament. You will not regret it. Some of the best performances you'll ever see.
Yeah, and what Mammoth would give for a 3-point run here now to tie things back up. But look, let's not get ahead of ourselves. They need to score this offensive point. They need to hold here. As we see Colony mixing up their defense a little bit.
Yeah, Clam, which is half man, half zone. Lots of switching downfield.
Spielman sees a great opportunity. And once again, Lachlan Murphy, if he was any more casual, I suspect he'd be dead. He just plucks that out of the air.
Someone go check the man for a pulse. He's too casual. It's just way too easy for him. It looks like he's playing Sunday pickup, not the national final.
I love that. He is just in his performance zone at the moment. And often when you see a player overthink things, it's when life gets difficult. But all he was concentrating then on was the catch. He wasn't worried about where his feet were, whether he was in. He lands. Oh, I'm in the end zone. Looks like I've scored another one.
I love the cradle as well. Grimmond coming in and jumping into Murphy's arms after the point was finished. On camera, Tom Tullett apparently carrying some sort of nerve issue in his throwing arm.
Yeah, that's right. So I think for the Plunder boys, obviously they're very focused on this game. It's a big game for them, and they desperately will want to get another Australian Open title under their belt. But this is not where the journey ends for them, and they've got some big names to come back in, and they'll have high aspirations for the World Ultimate Club Championships. And this is almost, in that sense, this is almost like a warm-up for them.
But a result here is two different teams heading to WUC. Think for a moment, Australian champions, Colony Plunder, playing at World Ultimate Championships, or Colony Plunder, second place at Australian Championships. There's a big difference between the two.
Yeah, as we see another great pull. Mickle with the disc, still in the end zone for Colony. Oh! Spielman! He just saw that coming for Akers. It just had too much float on it from Mickle.
And Sam Kosher was making like a statue out there. He was completely stationary. And Spielman, a massive run-through block.
Yeah, you don't often see a miscue like that, but straight away Mickle gets the disc back and says, I'll have another go. Disc back in the hands of Chris Kosher. Mickle, Norton, now in the middle of the field. A little dish off to Garfield, who winds up the backhand. Mickle now. Oh. Wow. Was he in?
That is the question. He has gone up big. Thompson's done his best. It's a clean contest.
I think neither player actually knows whether he's landed in or not, so they're looking for some advice from the game advisor.
It's gonna, I think he's good. Yeah, he's good. They're going to call it as in. Jimmy Mickle in the old. He's referred to as a big horse.
No. It's
Oh, it's not?
not called in.
Okay, maybe he landed on the line.
Everybody is setting up again, so taking the advice there. And yeah, it's as I say, we've got no real vision on it from here. We're a long way from where his foot came down, but
And unfortunately, the field marking's way too thin to be visible on camera. McNaughton.
well, this is a great opportunity for Mammoth. Again in this point, Grimmond moves it quickly out wide.
Oh, McNaughton.
Gets it back again.
McNaughton.
Oh, there's a big launch now. McAllister. Oh, that is a lovely grab. Denyer went early. He almost had to.
And
But, oh, the Mammoth boys, they're jumping all over each other. They know that in the context of this match,
that was a must-do, and done it they have. Because if they go down 11-7, I think that they just saddle up Big Mickle and ride the big horse in home. However, it's still doable, very much doable. McAllister, oh, what a catch.
wow.
He protected the space with his body, and then as he went up, he went backwards a little bit as well to get the read, forcing Denyer to go up early. And he loves it.
Not one of the tallest guys on their team, but his vertical leap is exceptional, and is a very strong, powerful player. He's having an unbelievable game.
Huge part of this, and leading from the front was captain of the American under-24 team. And now he is leading with his actions for the Brisbane Mammoth. 10-8, defense to come, wind blustery still.
Yeah, it's picked up again now, which is good timing for Mammoth because
Oh,
we
Spielman.
see a massive pull from Spielman. Same again, lands in but rolls out.
Again, the importance of a good pull gives your defense time to get down and get set. Mickle
They'd love this wind to keep up pretty strongly for another few minutes to just make life a little bit more uncomfortable for Plunder. Obviously, they've got a plethora of throwing power.
This breeze won't worry Mickle, and he makes an audible. He calls his stack shorter. Garfield, the reset. Lensay is just playing tight on Mickle. So it is now Denya.
Well, we've got a call.
A travel on Garfield.
Oh.
It's a you're a lefty, you travel. McAllister stays.
Garfield's explained.
As soon as he saw that Garfield was a left-hander, McAllister's gone, oh, whoops, I'm sorry. Just go over there.
It's a little sheepish now, McAllister, but I don't think he'll make that mistake again.
You set your force on a right-hander so often, and then a left-hander comes along, and you can't help yourself but think, what the hell is that? That must have been a travel. So Plunder, Kosher, Mickle puts Lensay on his heels. Mickle goes with a very flat one. That is no good, and Garfield nowhere near it.
We just talked about that wind making life a little bit interesting, and it did in that situation. It's quite gusty at the moment, and it's a little bit inconsistent. So when the gusts die down, very easy to throw. When they pick up a little bit, Mickle tried to ping that one through, and it just, wasteful.
McNaughton, that is not what your team needs, dude. Mickle will get it back. And there is a call from the stack.
Oh, John McNaughton, I think he'll wish he could have that again, because they had a real opportunity there to get the break back, and they've just given the disc to Colony with only probably 15 metres to work into the end zone.
You can't keep giving Plunder chances like this. They're golden, and it's going to lose you the match. Kosher, big around. Goes with Dominator movement, back with Mickle. Near side. Plunder. Resetting, working the angles. Latamatos. Oh, nice break by Latamatos. They're out here, Plunder, and that's the score. Garfield catching the point to end it. And Plunder scored their 11th for the game.
Wow.
61 and a half minutes gone.
Is that the point that Mammoth is going to look back on and think, what if?
John McNaughton could do no wrong yesterday. And today,
his pulls have been exceptional, and he hasn't had to do as much, I think, which, as we talked about before, is good for the Mammoth boys. But in that situation,
he's got to make a better decision.
I think he'll be very disappointed with himself, just because he'll know how critical that point is.
And that point all created by that inside break of Latamatos. Immaculate throw. Just opening the Mammoth defense wide open.
It was interesting, that point too, just seeing that the Colony Plunder boys are happy to give themselves a little bit more space, losing a bit of ground on their swing passes, but just opening up some additional angles to work with. And they just looked strong then. They had options all over the park. Shepherd getting involved, and as you said, that inside break from Latamatos, just making it really difficult for Mammoth to defend. Another pull coming up. Grimmond with a wry smile, because he got in the place to try and stop it rolling out, and it just came through at pace.
Oh. McNaughton. He needs to go to another gear here. He needs to find a new level, because his team needs him. They need to hold here. The switch is called. Thomasville burning not one but two Plunder defenders. And
he is so quick, Tevo.
And there's a nice give-go. Leask. He's overthrown it though, and it's going to sit way too high.
Oh, that's out. That is out.
Grimmond makes the play.
Oh, Tivo doing an absolute mountain of work, cutting work, and as you say, he's just burning defenders all over the place, but Mammoth just not able, at least not able to take advantage of the separation that Thomas Vo had there.
Yeah, the wind playing as an extra defender for Plunder and forcing that throw out as Lease kind of lost shape on the backhand. And Latamatos pumps the big forehand.
He
and
fakes it and then he hits it.
Huge contest that results in Liam Grimmond making sure of it and killing the disc dead.
Yeah, that was a good contest there between Rob Andrews and Miles McCallum. But McCallum had good body position. He absorbed a bit of contact from Andrews and just...
They're a long way to the strong side, the Mammoth stack. So McNaughton has to work, and there's a throw into space. At full length is Leask to catch that. McNaughton with free arms finds Grimmond, who's again free as well. There's free receivers everywhere. McCallum pumps the big and then sticks it. You would have thought the cut was gone. Thompson underneath it. Leask arrives late. Jimmy Todd Hill rises in the pack.
We got a foul on the throw though.
Jimmy Todd Hill with an immaculate read. It was perfect. He knew exactly where he needed to get to.
Just went up above the pack, didn't he? But I think you could really see McCallum just pivoting like a man possessed. He wanted that deep shot. He was very off balance when he threw that, but
I think
obviously contact from Andrews is uncontested.
He needs to realise when the opportunity's gone though and be willing to work through hands and continue resetting the stall.
Oh,
Grimmond.
Lovely cutting by McNaughton, but Grimmond just not able to pop it through that gap there. Oh.
Vo. Another cold drop and a skill error.
I think he was worried about the sideline there. He was very close, and you could see him almost looking down to see where his feet were going to land before he had control of that disc.
Well, right now, Mammoth are losing this game, and Plunder an opportunity to really win it. Jimmy Todd Hill gets smacked by De Hollander, who has probably 50 kilos on the slight Todd Hill.
Bit of clumsy contact there from De Hollander. Obviously no intent, but Jimmy Todd Hill doesn't seem too worried by that. He hits Petrov. Wow, that's a brave throw by Petrov there. Outside in flick, but he just puts enough touch on it that Andrews can pull it in easily, and almost too quickly, Colony have been able to establish a 12-8 lead. Are we at now?
I think we need to check the score. We may have added the Mickle out of bounds catch as a score, so we'll confirm that in the timeout. We'll be back very shortly with more of this men's final.
House party win!
AUC.TV.
And we're back at the end of this timeout. Just had confirmation on the score from the game advisors. We are at 11-8. Plenty of wind here means that the on-field scoreboards are held down by frisbees, which is helpful for people on the other side of the field, but means we can't actually see what the score is here from the commentary box.
But thankfully, game advisors on this match as a final. We have 4 of them out there. Tim Webb, Simon Wood, Lucy Alexander and Steve Baker, the 4 GAs for the match. Helping the players out where needed. Guiding discussions, helping with discussions. But as Ultimate is a self-refereed sport, they're actually making an active call themselves. It's all left up to the players.
Yeah, and it feels like the calls in this final have been fairly minimal and seem to be resolved pretty quickly. So I think that's impressive. Another nice pull.
Mickle getting in on the act. Permac with the disc.
Yeah, so Permac back to Brown. Spielman now. Spielman looking for McNaughton. McNaughton hits the big backhand. That is reined in very nicely by McGuckin. And I was just about to say that Colony's been able to shut down the long game of John McNaughton for the last few points, and they've done a pretty good job on keeping him out of the play a lot. So he'll be happy to get that little freedom and get off a good shot. Nice, easy point for Mammoth. That's a point they need at this particular juncture of the game, because if they weren't able to hold then, I think we could have said goodbye to any opportunities that they've had to be competitive here. But I think that just gives them enough of a sniff. They know they're 1 or 2 blocks away from being right back in this.
And with such a deep roster, on defense, the Faceless Army can get to work and try and run the smaller Plunder team into the ground. The pace of the game has been fast. And McNaughton, yeah, just as you thought the Plunder defense was getting on top and not only covering McNaughton, but also the downfield cutters as well. It breaks open, McNaughton to McGuckin. And McNaughton now will pull into the teeth of this gusty Gold Coast breeze.
Pivotal point, this one, in my opinion. McNaughton launches. This one a little shorter than some of his previous pulls, just outside the end zone. And Mickle with the disc in hand. Gets it over to Alex Shepherd. He sends a mid-range pass up to Kosher. Colony working the unders here. Pete Ely with the disc in hand.
Oh, they've trapped him. Kosher
gets them out of jail. Back to Mickle now. They're in some better field position, but
Kosher has dropped it cold.
He just took his eyes off that, thinking about the next pass, because they'd worked beautifully to use the width of the field there, Colony. McNaughton now with an opportunity to close it up, and he just goes straight for the big throw. McAllister grabs the disc, but
there's a huge pick on Mickle in the stack. He went barging through a couple of players. And
looks like the Brisbane players aren't convinced that there was too much impact to McAllister, and it seems like that may be the end result.
yeah, it looks like it's going to stay with McAllister. That catch, that was a two-handed bonk.
Oh, he landed awkwardly as well, didn't he?
Yeah, there was Arms and legs in positions they probably shouldn't be in.
McAllister now.
Oh, Grimmett sends him the wrong way. And he has the disc in hand. Young Liam Grimmett works hard. Vo had the drop only a few points ago. McNaughton with the disc. This is probably the option they want.
Oh, there we go. The speed of Vo.
Put him on replay. Rewind that one back and watch it again. TiVo in the end zone.
I think that when McNaughton had the disc there, a lot of the Colony players expecting that maybe it was going to be coming over their heads, over to this close sideline where we are now. But no, he's just worked that narrow channel down there with a speeding Thomas Vo into the end zone.
Oh, just as you thought Mammoth were done, they have come back in the game with a break, taking the game to 11-10, and they're going to work downwind on defense. Oh, if they level it here, Kylie.
Oh, that's, look.
The cat will be out of the bag.
I mean, I think that's what the people want to see is a nice tight game here. And Mammoth, I mean, they've had their opportunities all the way through the game. And they just have missed a couple of them, so they'll be really pleased that they've been able to ice that one. And now, Spielman with the disc. They'll be looking for another big pull here. We've tended to see the pulls going this direction have landed deep in the end zone and then rolled out. They'd love it if they could keep this one in and really apply some pressure, but he's gone with the blade, which is going to bounce and roll again. Stopped early by Denya. Dis with Mickle. Right on the line there. And we see it moving infield now to Shepherd. Open Denya. Now he gets closed up. Shepherd moving the disc quickly. Garfield surveying his options. Big defensive pressure being applied by Mammoth. Latamados. Oh, Callan Spielman! Callan Spielman! The Mammoth boys have gone crazy on the sideline.
That is huge, and I don't know what Rob Andrews is doing. You got to attack the disc, dude. You got to go to it. You can't keep running sideways and let Spielman come up the inside. He is snuck in like a thief in the night. And Mammoth, a huge opportunity. Rob Andrews doesn't make the play going the other way. And Spielman...
Oh, that is a big put. Oh, Kosher, he needed to grab that.
Oh.
And straight away, Colony looked to shoot. Mickle. McNaughton does all he can, but that was all Mickle. It's interesting now because for the first time we're starting to see a little bit of agitation, a little bit of firing up from some of the Colony Plunder boys. Mickle there urging his team to get down beside him on the sideline after that turn and get a little bit more active. And that's an indication that they're feeling a little bit of the pressure from Mammoth.
Looks like there's a bit of confusion as to what's actually going on. Steve Baker, head game advisor, getting involved. And he's gesturing timeout. Yeah, it is a timeout. So Mickle calls the timeout for Colony. They will go from a set play in the red zone. Oh, Mammoth, you've got to score that point, boys. You want the goal, you got to get it done.
Yeah, Chris Kosher just really stepping up when they needed him to. He was pretty much the last line of defense there. He read it well. He always looked like he had it covered. It wasn't probably the ideal shot from Callan Spielman, who gave them the opportunity in the first place. We see that tee again from Spielman. Wow.
Incredible.
That's textbook, really.
Would like to see Andrews be a little bit more aggressive there. He never...
House party win.
we're back in after a timeout. I think just a good opportunity there for Colony Plunder to settle things down after an unexpected for them surge from Mammoth. But Jimmy Mickle now with good field position for Plunder. And we see the disc go out to Kosher. Back. They've been very powerful with that movement across.
Yeah, dominated movement. Long time Seattle Sockeye play. Standard play, they dump the disc and they go fast. It's made its way slowly into Australian Ultimate over the years, and we see Kosher and Mickle applying it, showing the Aussies how the Americans do it.
Kosher's going to tap the disc back in here. And Mammoth. Oh. Shepherd holds the disc. There's some big pressure being put on there by Lindsay. Oh, hold on. We've got an injury.
Oh, Garfield
here.
is down, clutching a knee. He doesn't look good.
Oh,
He's in a world of hurt at the moment.
That is not good for Abra Garfield. Quite sure what happened there, whether there was collision or whether there was just a change of direction.
Well, he's got himself laid out on the turf. He is not happy. And that knee looks very, very sore. And Plunder, they are the walking wounded. Garfield being helped off the field by the one-armed Mark Evans.
Yep.
He received surgery on a hand, his left hand, after an injury. Garfield isn't moving that knee, so maybe just he's just collapsed on it.
Oh, yeah, there's no...
As he's gone back to go the other way.
Well, back in play, Latamatos. Oh, big bit again from Lindsay. He's really putting everything into this, but Shepherd holds on. Back with Kosher. Patient. Hits Mickle. We've got another call. We've really...
Lots of picks in the stack. Lots of big bodies moving at speed. It's a recipe for Pick City.
Coming back in now with Mickle. And that's just a little bit too easy, isn't it, to Kosher?
Look at
Open
that.
side.
Look at that in and out cut. Just drives Thomas Vo in towards the middle and then quick turn, out he goes. Vo can't change direction quickly enough. Plunder 12-10. And Mammoth, I get the feeling that was their opportunity at the gold. Has just gone begging.
Wry smile from Thomas Vo as he walks off the field because he knows he got sold a bit of a dummy there.
Just brilliant cutting, really, from Kosher. Garfield still on the ground. He's not in a good way. We hope that he is all right. We hope it's nothing too serious. And another timeout, so we'll break for an ad and be back with some more. We haven't got much to go now. Garfield seems to be okay. He's just copped a very, very painful knee to his knee. That would put anyone on the ground and a great deal of discomfort. So that is good news in a way. Garfield is okay. His knee ligaments should be intact.
Yeah, that's great news, not just for Abra, because he's had his fair share of injuries over the years, but certainly for the Colony Plunder team and their ambitions at the World Ultimate Club Championships later on this year.
Well, Mickle, his turn to pull. And it will be a downwind pull. He goes outside in. A gigantic pull. Leask settles himself underneath to McNaughton.
Well positioned by Leask.
McNaughton goes back. Leask. He wound up there for a moment. And Colony bring a zone. And there is a foul call. Leask will ask for this one back. Well, this is a change in defensive scheme. Leask, he's trapped. He throws a push pass. Oh, I'm about to have an aneurysm. It's Callahan country, and if he throws another one of them, he is just asking for a Plunder player to pick it off. They're out now, though, and Leask finds McNaughton. And McNaughton goes with a big hammer that he's overthrown.
Oh.
They were money yesterday, and today he has thrown it away. Mickle. Ladamatos fakes a big one. Has nothing. Throws a nice, easy reset. That's too easy. Mammoth need to tighten up here and get this disc back. Faking. Sutas. Kosher. Back to that far side. They're wanting to find Mickle. He's marked pretty well by Grimmond. Kosher working against his compatriot of McAllister.
We're getting involved quite a lot in this point, but
Grimmond does enough, and a turnover is forced. Mark Wee just locking in onto Mickle. Never really looking anywhere else, and, well, looks at a turnover. Wee, though, trying his best to get it back, and Miles McCullum goes flat to Thompson in the end zone. Oh, Mammoth, they're not done yet. Like their name's sake, they are not extinct. They're still alive and kicking, and the dream lives on.
yeah, they just need that elusive break, don't they? Be interesting to see what they do with their line here.
John McNaughton needs to get off the field. This team has been built around a faceless army. It has been around beasts on both lines, guys just willing to run and put their heart on the line.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're on the same page here, because if I'm Mammoth, I really want to put out the strongest defensive line that I can, because they're going to have one or two more opportunities to get that break. And, you know, whether that includes McNaughton or not, I don't know, but I think you've just got to make sure that once they do get the break, that they've got the throwers. They're confident with the line they've got there. Grimmond's been playing very well. We see Murphy there as well. He'll be ready to score. And McAllister, I think, has to be there. He's had an excellent game also.
There's a very strong line from Mammoth, and no McNaughton.
Spielman. Another monster pull. Denya gets under that, coming into the angle, and McAllister straight onto Mickle. Kosher. Some looser marking from the Mammoth boys now. Shepherd, he's been so solid for them today. Ladamatos now.
Shepherd has not put a foot wrong all game.
You see, just with Shepherd again now, Kosher. They're just trying to halt their downfield motion. Norton back to Shepherd. He winds up to shoot deep, but holds it in. You see the disc back again now with Kosher. He's patient with his options. Mickle injecting himself when he needs to. Oh, McAllister thought about coming in for that. Shepherd scores. A little too easy for Colony there, you'd have to say. I mean, I could see what the Mammoth team was trying to do. Really trying to stop them getting off that long shot. They're trying to make them throw a lot of passes around the disc without too much progress, but they were very loose. It never really felt like Plunder were under any pressure.
Yeah, they just kept on moving the disc and creating a new angle with which to attack the defense. It's that sagging man we've seen out of Mammoth so often, using poachers to stop downfield cuts and forcing speculative throws, but Plunder managed to find the soft spots and, well, off the back of Kosher to the young man who can do no wrong. Alex Shepherd in the end zone.
Yeah, and you could see on that upline cut that McAllister had a little look and realised early he was not going to be able to get there ahead of Chris Kosher, so stayed on his man, which is the right thing for him to do.
And not without tackling him anyway.
Yeah, but
Would have been heavy contact had he gone, so he elects to stay where he is. And
that just looked really comfortable for Plunder, though. They looked like they just had plenty of time on the disc, as we see Andrews launching another bomb of a pull downfield. But we see now that Leask's pretty comfortable picking those up.
And Plunder.
McNaughton to Grimmond.
This zone, Grimmond.
Makes Leask reach high for it.
Gets away with one, I think.
Yeah, some nice popping there in the middle of the cup from McGuckin.
They're struggling to make much progress here on Mammoth. The Plunder defense is working.
Well, that's okay. They won't mind that as long as they're taking good options. But, and look at, Rob Andrews fast closing. But Spielman holds on to it. They find the open player in the end zone there. Miles McCallum, was it?
McGuckin with the disc in hand at the moment. Well, that makes it 12-13. This game is a thriller. It's going to go all the way down to the wire. We've only got some 8.5 minutes to go. McNaughton, the fake, throws open Callan Spielman. Rob Andrews nearly wipes out Spielman. And Spielman.
Yeah, McCallum scoring the goal. I think that was much better play by Mammoth, though. They'll back themselves to throw 100 throws around that zone if they need to. But that option then that McNaughton took, just so much more margin for error than some of his other throws that he's put up. There was plenty. I know that Andrews was coming in hard. That was not a pinpoint throw from McNaughton, but it didn't need to be because it was a good choice. Spielman was in a lot of space, and McCullum able to finish it off.
And Spielman will now pull the offensive line. Latamatos and Mickle out there, ready to go.
Dania to Norton. Norton looks at options, finds Mickle.
Oh, Shepherd. There's a mile free.
And he just launches it. Kosher's there. McAllister coming in hard. Oh, McAllister got up high, but Kosher takes a great grab there.
I reckon that'll stay as a goal.
Oh, it has to, surely.
Unless there was contact earlier in the play. It didn't look like anything to me.
I mean...
You know, I think... oh, actually, hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Has McAllister caught that before Kosher even got there? It looked like Kosher's disc, but I think that he's actually taken it away from McAllister. I think McAllister has caught this. Yes, McAllister has caught this. And that's actually what's going to happen on field as well.
Wow. That is not how it looked to the naked eye. That is a phenomenal effort from McAllister. And now Mammoth need to take advantage of this opportunity. This is a must score for them.
Oh, to level it up. And McNaughton is going to reach for Murphy, who misreads it.
Murphy. missing the hat. And that is just another wasted opportunity for the Mammoth boys. They'll be filthy with themselves.
So many wasted opportunities for Mammoth this game. They are going to rue their chances.
Kosher with the disc back to Mickle. Oh, they've done all the hard work, Mammoth. They're going to have to rise again.
There's nothing downfield, however. And
Oh,
Murphy
good effort
bids
from
anyway.
Murphy. Up.
And
Big shot from Mickle.
Oh,
Shepherd.
He can do no wrong.
That is a heartbreaker for the Mammoth boys.
He cannot put a foot out of line. And Alex Shepherd, the most reliable man Plunder have, he takes the dagger and he sticks it in deep. He twists the knife. And on the end of a humongous Mickle throw.
Wow.
Oh, to take the game to 13-12 moments ago, we were talking about 12 all. And all of a sudden, it's Plunder still in the lead and Mammoth still trailing behind.
That 14-12 now to Plunder, as opposed to 13 all.
Oh.
I mean, look, it was an absolute miracle that McAllister was able to get up over Kosher and grab that first. As we said, it did not look like that.
Oh, in full speed.
On full speed, it looked like
that was Kosher's disc.
Kosher's disc.
He just scored a point, you know, let's pack it up, go home. But the replay shows the true story. And we needed the slow motion, clear separation between McAllister and Kosher.
But has this been the case at a number of absolutely critical points in the game when Mammoth have had the disc in hand, they just haven't been able to ice it.
They've lost the game, Kylie. If this was 13 all, Mammoth win, considering it's 14-12, it's Plunder's game. Mammoth.
Oh, look, I don't think that the Mammoth boys are going to be thinking that, but they've got to score this point first. Pressure is a funny thing, and it does funny things to people.
Oh,
as
Spielman.
We see Spielman.
McGuckin.
Oh, McGuckin. Wow, that is a great grab.
And that is a nothing foul by Andrews. He's giving a gift to Mammoth, allowing them to make a play call here. Oh, he's calling a pick. Okay, whatever. It's still a nothing play. McGuckin. Oh, my man, McGuckin.
That was a...
He's McFlying.
That was very impressive because the throw for Spielman, not ideal.
Not a great option. So McGuckin taps it in.
And we see Leask with the disc. Heavy pressure there from Stewart. Uncontested foul.
Bit of a chilly mark there.
They just need to make sure of it.
Well, they give the disc to Plunder. Plunder win. Oh, Grimmond.
Grimmond.
He's going to call foul.
Yeah. A lot of bodies in a small space there, and Sutas on the ground. He's up. Looks like he's okay.
Yeah, Grimmond went bundling into Sutas. Dan Petrov involved, bidding. Oh, okay. So Dan Petrov has bumped into the back of Grimmond. It's a contested foul. That's fair enough. The contact by Petrov was not intentional on Grimmond. Grimmond feeling the contact was unwarranted and resulted in him not having the play that he wanted on the disc.
Yeah, we see Mammoth showing some patience here, but also good defense from the Colony Plunder team. And there's that hammer again, this time into acres of space. John McNaughton gets his target back. Miles McCallum. Again, he's been a significant impact player for the team here. He's always going to be a target. And we find ourselves in the position. The Colony Plunder just need to have an offensive hold here to take the title. And for Mammoth to win, they are going to need to get 2 breaks in a row.
I'm shaking my head, Kylie. There's no way they can do this. There's no way. They haven't been able to do this all game. They've never been able to, convert those D points when they need them. And all throughout this game, it's been Plunder up by 1, Plunder up by 2. We're getting down the stretch, and are Plunder going to lose it now? Surely not.
Well, as I said, Daniel, pressure is a funny thing.
It does funny things to the brain too, doesn't it?
And a little surge of adrenaline at the wrong time can be catastrophic. And on the flip side, a little surge at the right time can be extraordinarily beneficial. So Plunder will be looking to just keep the nerves under control and just send this one in.
Well,
as we see Latamatos with the disc right on the end zone.
We only need 1 throw and 1 catch.
All eyes on Mickle again. Latamatos was not looking for anybody else. We see a big throw coming out to Petrov. He goes to Kosher, who's been great all day. Shapes to hit the deep. Back to Mickle.
If they can get a little bit closer, they're going to be a much better chance to score.
Wow. A couple of close calls there. Petrov, disc in hand. That is a nice grab there. Could this be the end?
Spielman.
Yes, it is.
That's it.
Latamatos.
What a finish. What a game. Plunder, they looked good all day. Mammoth refused to die. They refused to go extinct. They fought against the coming ice age. They fought against it all the way, and Plunder have done it. They are national champions again.
Congratulations, Colony Plunder.
And
I think they'd agree it was not the most definitive offensive hold that they've had, but it doesn't matter. They are the Australian Ultimate Champions in the men's division. And what an exciting game to start off.
Oh, Mammoth.
Our gold medal matches.
For the second time, they are the bridesmaids in the men's division, beaten again. They've gone the entire distance and then lost. They're going to rue their chances. They're going to watch that game back, and they're going to feel there was at least half a dozen times when they could have won. Phenomenal. Thank you, Kylie.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for having us, everybody. And remember, straight after this, we have the women's final between Melbourne Ellipsis and Sydney's GWS Blaze. So stay with us. Oh, we're just seeing some replays here. Wow. What a game.
Shame we can't see the lines because they're too thin.
So fly lower and swell.